positive. President Donald Trump and Melania Trump have tested positive for COVID-19. It's Anita Wingley of Faith Strong Today, and let's unpack how the pandemic has affected politics, culture, and the church. President Donald Trump tweeted early Friday morning with the news. Tonight, First Lady of the US and I tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together. The reaction on social media was instant and included expressions of sympathy, questions, and comments. Trump's COVID infection comes a month before the election and follows a busy week of campaign events. Christian leaders are urging people to put aside partisan politics and pray in the spirit of 1 Timothy chapter 2. Pastor and evangelist Greg Laurie of Harvest Christian Fellowship in California was one of the first to jump on Twitter and petition people to pray for God's intervention and healing. Other Christian leaders quoted from 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2, where believers are urged to pray for kings and for all those in authority. This passage has long inspired Christians to pray for the president regularly, regardless of who's in the office. Trump's Twitter announcement has also sparked commentary on how the president has handled the pandemic. In the early days of the pandemic, the president's strategy for America seemed to be ignore it and hope for a miracle.
The virus. They're working hard. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true.
Then, week after week, the U.S. has set new records for infections, hospitalizations, and deaths. More than 200,000 Americans are now confirmed dead, and many schools are closing down again after failed attempts to reopen. America now has one of the worst epidemics in the world, with the second most daily new COVID deaths among developed nations, surpassed only by Spain. All political opinions aside, we hope that you'll join us in praying for President Trump and the First Lady for a full and fast recovery. Social distancing has dramatically redefined the church, revealed its weaknesses, and forced it to innovate. The pandemic has made us consider what really constitutes church. As buildings have been closed and worship services restricted, relationships have become more important. Believers and non-believers alike are recognizing that this is an opportunity to reflect, learn, and grow closer to God. In fact, data shows a spike in Bible sales and an increase in faith-based Google searches for words like prayer since the start of the pandemic. As the Northern Hemisphere settles into autumn, health experts have predicted a second wave of the pandemic. Businesses and churches are getting prepared for another season of working remotely. For those who are working from home, you know that being productive and successful is not easy. So we put together a few tips for you, like create a dedicated workspace, keep flexible routines, and take breaks often. Find the full article on faithstrongtoday.com. And for more conversations on faith, culture, and news, stay tuned to Faith Strong Today.